43.
42. 41.
40.
39.
Number 1.
39.
38.
37.
36.
35.
34.
33. 32.
31.
30. 29.
28.
27.
26.
25.
24.
23.
21.
20.
19.
18.
17. 16.
15.
14.
13.
12.
11.
10.
9. 8.
7.
6.
5.
4.
3.5.
3.
2.
1.
Hey, Rocky, you want to see me pull a show out of my hat? Nothing up my sleeve. Presto! Hi, and welcome to the Mouthwash Talk Show, a minty fresh take on life and sometimes politics. Tonight, we have a good show for you, especially since they had a cruise ship with some kind of funky virus on it that's coming around here, and everybody's sort of thinking, "Oh, we got the COVID coming back in and all that stuff." So, and I've had Ashely Grogg on the schedule since show 252, and it got canceled. And then we tried to reschedule. So 25 shows later, here she is. And I'm just so impressed with the organization that she's building. It is quite impressive. And we're going to talk about that tonight. And I do see all of our panelists backstage popping in here. Oh, it's just going to be a wonderful show tonight. We have a lot of political stuff going on. This Secretary of State race, the delegates have been chosen. The Democrats have theirs on June 5th and the Republicans have theirs on June 19th, and they're going to pick some people to go against a libertarian and possibly an independent. What could go wrong? A lot of math before this November. So stay tuned on that. Yours truly is a delegate, and so I get to mix it up there and see what's happening. I think I'll take my State House press pass and wear it around just to irritate people, because I'm a disruptor and all. But anyway, that is going on. And then we got some news. There's some other elections today. I know that Thomas Massey race, they were looking at that, see if he was going to survive, and it looks like he didn't make it. It looks like the other guy won. Trump's guy won. So that's it. And tonight we have a little I got a thing for Brad at his TDS. So we'll be talking about that, and I'm sure our guest will have something to join in with that. And I'm looking forward to Lucy's health thing, because we haven't had her on the show for a couple weeks. So I'm looking forward to that. So anyway, let's get to it. Let's see what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and bring on Ashely. I think she's back there ready to go. She's look at you. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me. I'm glad we could finally make it happen.
I know. Can you believe it was 25 shows ago? We're on 277 and you were 252. I had to update the pre-show intro on it because we've changed so much stuff. That was like, man, that was so last year. I mean, we got new stuff. I mean, he even had 2025 on it. So it's been a minute. But anyway, you've been on the show before, and it's been a while. I look back, I think you were on show 39. So, I mean, we're on 277 once a week.
Well, I've been on multiple times. I think I've been on here.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been around for a while.
Yeah. Maybe that was your first one. So anyway, tell us about your organization, or tell us about yourself and what you're up to. I mean, you've been up to.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot to unpack there, but the short of it is my name's Ashely Grogg. I'm a master's prepared registered nurse, left the Western medicine paradigm about 10 years ago, started doing education, advocacy, functional medicine. And, in 2019, I started seeing the writing on the wall and was really concerned with vaccine mandates, door-to-door vaccine campaign for the measles in Samoan Islands, Hasidic Jewish population being locked out of synagogue. And I thought, something is coming. And so I decided politics was the way that we could protect people from mandates. and founded Hoosiers for Medical Liberty. And so now I invest a lot of time and energy in advocating for people's right to refuse. If you want a vaccine, that's your choice. We don't want to take that away from you, but we want people to make informed decisions. We want you to know the risks, the benefits, any alternative, the choice that's right for you as an individual. And that's different for everybody. So over the past several years, we've killed a lot of really bad bills, vaccine passports, vaccine drive-throughs, a whole rash of things. We've pushed some great legislation, making sure that people aren't discriminated against based on their vaccination status. Not secured that as far as we'd like to, but I'm really hopeful. We've had a lot of success with our candidate survey and getting legislators engaged in this issue. And I'll tell you, with these primaries, medical liberty was on the ballot. So
yeah, I would notice that you had I noticed that you endorsed a few people, and so who are the do's and who are the don'ts? Spill the tea.
Yeah. Hoosiers for Medical Liberty, we don't endorse, support, or oppose any political candidate. Our focus is informed decisions. And so I don't say vote for this person. I don't say don't vote for this person. That's not what we do. We send out a survey. It has 6 questions on it, and it really just gets to the brass tacks. Are you going to fight for people's right to say no? Are you going to protect their medical privacy and help us advance medical liberty legislation? And then we put out a voter tool, which I'm sure that you saw. We had
Yes, I saw it. I saw that. Yeah.
Here. And so, not only do I look at how they answer our survey, because people will make you all sorts of promises that they don't intend to keep.
No.
I know, right?
Really. It's like Lucy and Charlie Brown in the football. It's just something else. But,
yes.
So let me interject here. So our Hoosier Freedom Caucus is the same for 501, whatever the thing is, 501c or 4 or whatever it is. And it won't allow you to endorse somebody. So that's just to bring everybody, and we can't endorse, but we can do. And you're doing a very good job of staying between the lines. And you can inform people, and you can say, hey, this person is that, but you can't say, oh, vote for Joe Schmo. So, which is sort of tricky because you see these PACs and they have none of those rules. So they can just basically funnel the money wherever they want to and endorse who they want to and do all this. Whereas you have to use a little more finesse when you're doing yours. And like I said, I've watched you move over the years, and you're quite savvy. And I think our viewers are going to find that out tonight, that you know what you're doing. So go ahead on the rest of what you're saying. I just wanted to bring everybody sort of up to speed a little bit on how our groups work.
Yeah, I think it's really important to make that distinction between a PAC and a 501c4. Technically, we probably could endorse, but then there's this like gray area as to how much of your time can be spent on issue discussion. So like it, because I'm not saying this is the perfect person. I'm saying, look, this is what they have said they will commit to. This is what their voting record shows, if they have a voting record. And I just kind of lay the information out. It's all about that informed decision-making process. And we had several candidates, a lot of incumbents that filled out our survey at 100%. Some of them still did not pass. They failed because of their voting record. I'm not going to play games. I'm not going to mislead people. I'm going to try to give you the best information, but you have to make those decisions. And so we ended up with 13 districts, Senate districts, with 100% pass on the survey. Really, really interesting races. We had 3 that came through on the House side. And so it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. With that 13, we have over a quarter of the Senate. Plus, we know Micah Beckwith is on the side of medical liberty. And so it's just going to be really interesting to see what happens.
Yeah. So I posted your link to your page. Let's talk about that real quick. And then I'll give the panel a 2-minute warning, because I see Lucy's probably feeding a dog or chasing a kid. I don't see her, but she'll be back there. So this is your website, and you actually have 5 groups that meet every 3rd Thursday. And there's one here in Indianapolis, and I've already gotten you a new person to go today just from our show. I know it. Here in Indianapolis, Jimmy Bennett, he's one of the viewers. He says, I'm interested in that. So You just never know who's interested in what. But it sounds like, you're growing. It sounds like it's growing. And later on, I can do a screen share and we could look at where those locations are. But so I have that in the chat, and I'm going to leave that banner up here for a second. So you want to go to that website, you can check this out. But I think everybody's, health is very important. You can have a lot of money and you don't have health. What good is it, right?
That is absolutely the truth, because the fact that you'll end up spending all of your money on your health.
Yeah, it's not cheap. Not cheap. So
yeah.
Let's see what's okay. Yeah, you put so
just for so it's shorter, h4ml.org/meeting.
Okay.
It's sometimes people miss the double L on medical liberty because they're right next to each other, and so they get errors, and then there's like all this drama because people think my website's been hacked, and it's not. It's just sometimes that extra L will get you.
Well, before we go on, do you get a lot of hate mail? I mean, do you have some people that say, "Oh, this Ashely Grogg, oh my gosh"?
Yeah, I get some pretty nasty remarks, and I just kind of let them roll off my. Yeah, you wouldn't believe. Sometimes when people change their phone numbers, if they get our text messages, our updates, they will change their phone number, and of course, we don't get that notification or anything like that. So I send the text message, and I get all sorts of things through there. I'll have people, because I put a phone number and it comes through to my phone on the website. And so people will call me and say all sorts of things. I'll get emails. It's a wild place to be. You wouldn't think that advocating for the right to decline a vaccination would get you so much hate, but it sure does. And
I think it's our society these days. If they don't agree with you, they just shoot you. I hate to say that, but I saw a video of Spencer Pratt running out in LA, and he can't even live in his Airstream because they're going to blow it up. So, I mean, it's just ugly. We just need to all chill out is a little bit. So it's a crazy time. So, okay, I'm ready to bring the people on. We've gotten your website correctly on there now and all that. I urge people to go out there. Let's bring on our people. They're all ready. Oh, look at our people. Who do I miss? Oh, Brad. Sorry, Brad.
Thanks, John. Yeah, let's not act like Spencer Pratt knows anything. Like, don't vote for Spencer Pratt, for the love of God.
Why would you not vote for him? He's a YouTuber and all that. So
he was on the hills. Like,
I don't get. I never watched that, but apparently it was a problem.
It was just a show about idiot kids being idiots in Laguna Beach. Huh. And Spencer Pratt was one of the dickheads of the show. So now the fact that he is even like close to becoming a mayor, I just can't believe it. There's like a video of him yelling about his crystals at some point. Like, he needs to have his crystals, to like harness his energy. That's who Spencer Pratt. What I mean, and I'm sure he's grown, but from what I've seen him post on everything, he's not like candidate material. Like, there's better people. There's better people out there, guys. There's got to be.
I would say that Karen Basura, as he says, ain't it compared to what she's let happen and all that. So hey, that's their problem. We got our own problems right here. Good old Indiana. We
got 1.776 billion problems.
Oh boy, we're not gonna. It's this Ashely's show, Brad. This your TDS. Ashely, do you have?
I'm sorry. No.
For TDS, do you have one?
Ashely, I promise to give you the spotlight, and I will try my best though to make puns regarding the 1.76 or 76 billion. Okay,
so we'll let Ashely dictate when we could. Once we see your TDS has hit a maximum peak, we'll go ahead and do the friggin' Trump thing. Okay. So Ashely, is there a vaccine for this TDS? I mean, it's got to be starting to get into the APA.
I don't trust vaccine. Don't try to push a vaccine for that on me. Gosh.
Wait, did he just say he doesn't trust vaccines?
Yeah, he's not a Democrat. He's just been kicked out of the party. They're probably there. Wait, they're on the phone now. Hey, get him out. Get him off the.
You're no longer a Democrat in good standing, huh?
He's a Democrat outstanding in some field.
I don't think they know about me enough to be in standing. So, but I think Spiro had a good one that I have Pratt derangement syndrome.
Oh,
in addition to TDS. But see, that's the thing. I didn't have Pratt derangement syndrome until he started running for office. once these idiots start running for office, it's kind of on them at that point. You open yourself up for a lot of stuff. I didn't care about Spencer Pratt before this. Like, he was a dick. I didn't want to know anything about him.
He's very interesting.
Why do you care now?
Because I'm afraid that like a city will just be like boondoggled by somebody who just wants to be famous.
Isn't he already
like the president?
Not famous enough. And this is a new kind of fame too. This is
How much does it pay to be mayor of that city?
well, like we've talked before. Like, what's the difference between 7 million and 8 million? How much happier is it going to
Jimmy
make you?
Bennett's got a great idea. Let's hear from Ashely. She's the guest speaker. Thanks, Jimmy.
I'm sorry.
Maybe I can get you as a producer.
I did what I said I wasn't going to
Jeez
do.
Louise, Brad. Come on, man.
That's
I was looking. Okay, wait. TDS has two faces. This is probably going to get me in trouble. One being Trump devotion syndrome, where Trump can do no wrong, and then TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. But I thought that was funny because I've always been very outspoken. Like, I'm not just going to trust. I don't really trust anybody, to be completely honest. I'm going to take you at your word. You're going to build up layers like an onion. And you can take steps up or maybe it's a ladder. You can take steps up and down the ladder of trust. And right now, Trump's on the bottom rung, and he's about to fall on his face. So I mean, we could talk glyphosate. Anyways, let's talk about vaccines.
Yes.
Let's talk about. I got one for you. So my doctor talked me into getting this Prevlar 21 or whatever it is for all the pneumococcals and this and knockles and bacaloccals and the shamalanga ding dongs and all the stuff that goes with that when you get old. Am I going to die?
Yes.
Because
we're all going to die.
He put the hard
John.
pressure on me. I mean, I got away from this.
This is what aggravates me is the fact that doctors think that they own your body. They think that they own and can dictate your medical decisions, and that is not how it is. They think vaccines are infallible, and they fall for Vaccines Amen. I don't know if you guys have seen this book, read this book, Vaccines Amen by Aaron Siri. He is an attorney. He's not a doctor, but this is an amazing book. It has so much information. And so I encourage you to go read it because it lays out vaccinology as a religion. It truly, when you talk to physicians, when you talk to the quote experts, they just parrot these phrases, and he breaks it all down in this book, talks about vaccine quote science, because I don't think it's really science, it's propaganda. And he does a beautiful job. And Aaron Siri, has blessed Hoosiers for Medical Liberty and the people of Indiana with 150 copies of this book. So go out, say thank you to Aaron, buy the book. You can get it on Amazon. But we will be hand delivering a copy of Vaccines Amen to every single legislator. That is what Aaron has gifted us these books for. I'm working on a program because this is really going to launch our Watchdogs program into the next level. We must hold our politicians accountable. We're seeing a lot of them stand on the platform of medical liberty, say they support it, they want to protect it, yada, yada, yada. They've done all these great things, and I call BS, straight BS. Most 99% of these legislators do not care. Why? Because Eli Lilly and all the big pharma industry ghouls that live here in Indiana, they fund a lot of their campaigns. The hospital associations fund a lot of these campaigns. And so there's a lot of dirty money in politics. But the one thing that I stress more than anything in our organization is that it's our voices. It's not my voice, but it's ours as Hoosiers for Medical Liberty. It's the combined group coming together and knowing how to hold legislators accountable. We do that through our Watchdogs program, and you can do this in less than 7 hours per year. And I teach about a 2.5, 3 hour class on how you can hold your legislator accountable in under 7 hours per year. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican, Democrat, Libertarian. You need to be making your voice heard to these members of the legislature because they're representing you. So if you're interested in that, check out the website, shoot me an email. We're going to be dispersing those books, and I'll be giving you all the tools that you need to do that and have informed conversations with the legislature, so that way we can secure that right to refuse.
Yeah, our guest is Ashely Grogg, and she is the leader of this fine operation. Go to that website. There's 5 places all over the state that you can go to a meeting every third Thursday at 7 p.m., right? Look at that.
Yep,
I'm
7
doing my
p.m.
best to-
Eastern, 6 Central. So
Yeah.
we've got Fort Wayne, Huntington, Indy, Bloomington, and Evansville. We would love to have more locations. So if you're in a different area and you would like to help us host, you can get more information about that on the website too, or just email me.
Yeah,
Actually,
so
can you tell me about the lobbyists from some of these that are? I mean, how are they being influenced? Like, that's what I kind of want to know, is because I've been talking to a couple of my friends about the fact that there's no like lobbyist for people, which there should be, but there's constantly lobbyists for all these different companies and things like that. So how does that impact the State House?
So the lobbyists from the pharmaceutical industry are everywhere. This is insane. When people think about lobbyists, they primarily think about what's happening in DC, and the pharma lobbyists are, the best funded out there. In Indiana, we have each of these groups. We have the Chamber of Corruption, or Chamber of Commerce, as other people might know it as. They are a big part of this, big industry. And so they hire their own lobbyists. They're usually attorneys. They go in there, they talk to the legislators. And I don't think there are specific lobbyists. Well, that's not true. There are nonprofit organizations that get money from the state. And for some reason, the name of the organization is blanking on me. I can see the lobbyist's face, but I cannot remember the organization's name. But they get money from the state to promote vaccines and to work with the legislature on getting bills passed. And one of their big pushes, we called this out. We got some insider information from a pharmacy employee, and they said, hey, I just want to let you know, I just sat through a training with, I think it's Vaccinate Indiana or something like that. They came and or I guess it was a Zoom meeting or something, Teams, whatever. And they came in and said, we're going to be starting to administer childhood vaccines to anybody. Right now, the current law says that the pharmacist can't administer vaccines to anybody under age 11. And they said, we're going to be doing catch-up schedules. There is no upper limit to the number of vaccines that can be given in a setting. So talking about up to 11 vaccinations in one sitting. If the child is behind, they would bring them into the pharmacy, not see a doctor. The medical assessment probably would be bare minimum. There's no consistent follow-up. But the law was going to be changed so that way parents could take their kids into the pharmacy, get caught up on the schedule. Most of this is honestly, when parents make these kind of decisions, it's usually because they're being pressured either from the school or even DCS gets involved, and they're basically told, hey, if you don't catch your kid up on vaccines, A, they're going to die, and B, we're going to take them away from you because you're neglecting your child. And that is a real thing. So
is that enough for like a judge to really go after a family if they just find out that the kids are not vaccinated?
They will find other reasons, and it's really terrifying. We actually worked on a couple cases, and last year we were really blessed to be able to support a family who the children were already in DCS custody, 5 children. Some of the older kids were partially vaccinated, and religious beliefs changed. The mom had submitted a religious exemption for vaccination before, and DCS was moving to vaccinate all the children and catch them up. The attorney reached out to me. We were able to coordinate, work together, and I was able to provide them with multiple different citations in Indiana State Code saying that these kids can absolutely use the right to religious exemption here in Indiana. And we actually won that court case. And so that was a really awesome.
There you go. Hey, Ashely, go ahead. Jimmy wants the name of that book. Just hold that book up for a second here.
It's Vaccines. I'll put it in the chat too. It's Vaccines, Amen. By Aaron Siri, Siri. Again, Vaccines, Amen by Aaron Siri. It's a great book.
Yeah.
I probably ought to
how much do these vaccines, just on average, how much do they cost? And I mean, a lot of times they're free to us because somebody else is paying
They're
for
not
them.
free.
Well, I know I mean, you know,
Oh.
I took that pneumococcal block of thing, and you never did tell me if I was going to die or not, or if it's going to help
Wait,
me.
you just took a vaccine, John?
The vaccine. My doctor friggin' strong armed me into taking
What are
the
you- what are
pneumococcal
you-
one.
No
I
is a
don't know.
complete sentence. John, next time, like, take me to the doctor with you.
Oh, he retired.
So-
I roasted him 2 weeks ago at his retirement.
Lucy, I
thing, so
missed you.
I'm
miss
still
you.
alive.
Aw,
though.
thank
Thank you
you.
for
I mean,
that. That was
I
like
don't-
that was a classic.
it didn't even. I
just-
mean, I forgot I took the vaccine the next day until I just remembered that. Oh yeah, he gave me that because I don't want to get the pneumonia and die when I'm old because I'm 65 years old. I could die of pneumonia.
John, how can you have Ashley on the show and know me in real life and poison yourself? Like,
Hey,
literally,
you weren't in
know
there
that
when-
no
Okay,
vaccine-
You weren't in there.
Let's
He-
stop. Let's
Okay.
stop. Okay. Because individual choice. We don't need to make John feel
stop
bad about
shaming
his
him.
decision.
You know, that's,
Right? He can't change it.
My
He can't
friend,
take it
I
out.
want him to live and not have the chronic diseases that are listed on
I
the
think-
product
I
insert.
think
that
I
Lucy,
nobody's seen.
but
I
you
think I
can't
can-
take it out of him, can you? You can't.
I
It's
know
not
it's like
possible.
it's running around in my veins right now. Woo-hoo.
So this is the thing of it is there's a website you could go to, Dr. Green Mom. She talks about support after vaccination, things you can do to detox, you know, very basic things, supporting your body and allowing it to do what God designed it to do. Do you guys remember that word homeostasis from high school biology?
that was a woke term. I don't know that we.
Homeostasis was not
Yeah.
a woke term.
It starts off with a pretty.
Hey,
Yeah.
Brad,
Oh my
nobody's,
goodness.
nobody's
Grow up.
shaming you.
You're 12. Stop it.
Okay, I'm just saying. Like,
Tiffany,
I'm just gonna
it's your boy.
clap back on that real quick. No, homeostasis.
Ashley.
Your body works to regulate itself and bring itself back in balance. And so, you know, it is what it is. I would encourage you to really do some research on vaccines as a whole, where the science comes from, your risk for pneumonia, the fact that you're very active, the fact that you don't have, as far as I know, a long list of chronic conditions or comorbidities. There's a whole thing, and I would encourage you to do a risk benefit analysis, and that's a whole nother show. But looking at all the risks, looking at all the benefits, and then looking at the alternatives and weighing what is truly right for you. And so for the audience that's listening, if you find yourself in a situation like John did, where you go to the office, you don't have any intention of getting a vaccine, whether it's for you or a family member, just say, hey, you know what? I still have a lot of questions. I'm not comfortable doing that today. And I feel as though I'm getting a lot of pressure. I appreciate your concern, but I'm going to look into that and I'll get back to you. And
Yeah,
then
I did
change-
read he did give me the stuff, and I looked it up online, and this one seemed like it was, you know, didn't have any people that were dying from it. Like at least so I want to be the guinea pig. So if I keel over, don't get this vaccine. But if I live like to 100, that's what I'm going to say. You know how they ask you, what did you do
Thank
when
you,
you
John.
made it to 100?
Thank you.
You
for
made
being
it to 100.
brave.
What do you do? I'm going to tell everybody drink a quart of pickle juice every day. That's how I made it to 100. So to see how
Why?
many people will drink and I got this vaccine. And then that's it. That's what I'm going to say. So, because they always ask somebody, well, how'd you get to 100? And one guy said, well, I smoked a pack of Pall Malls every day. I made it. So I don't know. I think that.
it sounds like vaccine science to me.
Yeah, I think so. Yes. So,
Well, like, are
so
all
how
the
truthful
vaccines
are
bad?
these brochures? I mean, is the brochure that I read, is it telling me the facts and the online stuff that I looked at? Where do we find the information that's vital?
The problem is you can't, it's not just there. I mean, go get vaccines, amen, and understand how vaccine science is done. There's a lot of what I like to call magic math. They kind of cook the books. I have a book on my bookshelf. It's How to Lie with Statistics. Population health, epidemiology, vaccinology, these are all done with statistics, and they will take these. There is so much I could tell you. I co-host a podcast called The Nurses Report on AmericaOutloud.news, and we go over all sorts of things. We dig into the studies, we look at them, but when we were doing a podcast, I found out that they have pre-run-in trials. And so what they will do is they will give the medication, see who reacts, cut those people out of the population, and then proceed with the people who turned out, to do well with it. And so the science and the information behind it is garbage. We've talked about VAERS, or the Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting System, before. Doctors are not trained to truly look for this, and vaccines in a lot of these people's minds. And when I was in the hospital prior to, my Great Awakening, I believed that vaccines were safe and effective, period. I did not know that you could have a reaction. I did not know that you could die from a vaccine. That completely was out of the realm of possibility in my mind. And when you think about it, it's absurd. It's absolutely absurd, because of the fact that too much water, too much salt, too much sun, they can all cause serious harm or even kill you. And so why on God's green earth would we think that a medication at a single dose would be safe for every human being? Penicillin isn't safe for everybody. Aspirin isn't safe for everybody. Ibuprofen isn't safe for everybody. And so it's just mind-boggling to see the cognitive dissonance that takes place when we talk about vaccines. It just completely shuts down. And that was me. When I was pregnant with our first daughter, she's going to turn 17 in a couple days. Doesn't seem possible. But when I was pregnant with her, my husband and I were sitting and just talking about different things. And he said, well, what if they put something in vaccines to sterilize people? And I gasped, and I clutched my pearls, and I was completely and utterly just, no. How could you say something like that? Vaccines are safe and effective. The rhetoric, I was steeped in that tea and had no idea. And then, a series of events happened. Our second daughter was about a year old. She got pneumonia. The doctor wanted to vaccinate her after getting out of the hospital, IV antibiotics, oxygen, breathing treatments, the whole 9 yards. And I said, no, because you don't vaccinate when kids are sick, because they're not going to develop antibodies. That's what I was taught in nursing school, right? And the doctor blew up, got in my face, and started yelling at me. If there is one thing you do not want to do to Ashely Grogg, it is get in her face.
We know that.
Do not get in my face. Do not threaten me, because I will back you against the wall. You want to see crazy? Let's go. And so, I had a decision to make in that room: walk out or punch this guy and get fired, because we worked for the same hospital system. So I left, made the right decision. But I went back to work that week, and I was up on the unit, and I did not know it, but I was talking to a coworker, and I didn't realize that an infectious disease physician had walked up behind me and heard what I was saying. This is before anti-vax things were really a conversation. But the doctor walked around the desk, looked me square in the eyes, and said, I, for one, think it's asinine we give Hep B on the first day of life. Tucked the chart underneath their arm and walked away. And I was like,
what?
What just happened? And that's what started my whole understanding. And after doing 6 months, and I was pregnant at the time. I was only sleeping 2 or 3 hours a night because I was poring over research. Once I looked into Hep B, and I saw that it was tested for 5 days. The vaccine was not even working yet, but they quit watching for symptoms of a reaction. Tell me how that makes any sense. The vaccine has not had enough time to work, but yet they conclude that that's enough time to recognize whether this shot is safe or not. BS.
Yeah. Wasn't there a case 15 or so years ago about somebody messed up the dosage and gave way too much instead of 1 milligram or whatever?
That happens, but it doesn't matter, because the hepatitis B vaccine is neurotoxic, and I feel pretty confident in saying that. You'll see kids with seizures and brain swelling and all sorts of really horrible things that result in brain damage. Well, when you have brain damage, depending on what area of the brain is harmed, you have cognitive delays, physical development delays, social, issues. And so it's a hot mess. And I really we need to do placebo safety studies. We need to tell people what the risks are. We need to educate them on when they need to come into the doctor if they choose to get the vaccine. And we need to have programs in place so that way when people do take the vaccine and then they incur the risk, we are there to help them. That drives me more than anything, because I know that there will always be a population that takes the vaccines, and that is their choice. But if we're asking them to take the risks, why are we not helping them when they incur them? That drives me crazy.
Yeah. So I have 4 kids, and this, had them in the 90s. That was back before any of this vaccine really was a question. And, we have a lot of kids with allergies, but my number 3 kid, the son, he got meningitis right after getting these vaccines. And I look back on that and I think, man, I think he got that and he had to stay in an incubator for 4 or 5 extra days. And, I just look back on that thinking, I wonder if that had anything to do with it. So I guess this is 2 questions. If something like that happens, is it possibly because of the vaccine? And do we have a lot of kids with, I don't ever remember anybody having a peanut allergy when I was growing up. I don't remember, I'm not allergic to poison ivy. I'm not allergic to nothing. So
I don't think the kids were invited to the parties though. Just saying.
What do you mean invited to the parties?
That peanut butter would be served, or nobody had to worry about. Yeah, as soon as you find out somebody's like, oh no, something will happen. Like, okay, just don't invite them.
Yeah, so like when we got the measles or the chicken pox, one kid got it in the neighborhood, and all the kids went over there and got it. That was our vaccine. That's how we did 1970 vaccination.
See, that's kind of crazy parenting.
We had a hell of a it's not back in the day.
I don't mean it's crazy. I mean, it is, everybody is parenting, like, I think the best way that they can for their current generation and surrounding.
It's interesting. Let's put it that way. So
the thing is chicken pox, measles. I have books, and I moved my bookshelf from back here to over on the other side of the wall, but I wish that I had my book, because it was published I think it was in the 60s. I go through and I try to find old books. And one of the best ways that they said to care for, and this was before the vaccine, the determinant of the outcome of kids with measles was nursing care. It was making sure that they were well cared for, making sure that they didn't get secondary pneumonia or other infections. Now, they can get meningitis after this infection. Those cases are very rare. If you have a child with good nutrition, hydration, they're active, they're eating a variety of foods to get that nutrition so their body can do what? Achieve homeostasis. The body fights off the infection. There's a lot of information out there to show that the measles infection reduces risk of cardiovascular disease, strokes, all sorts of positive things that come about. And even if you look at cancer research and the fact that high fevers reduce your risk of cancer and can actually help treat cancer. And so we see all these positive effects of the measles that have kind of, diminished and gone away because we're not having that natural infection. Our bodies aren't being appropriately challenged versus, you get the measles. Usually you only get one of these childhood illnesses at a time. When you take vaccines, you're getting 6, 8, 10, 11 at the same time. You really explode that immune response. The body is extremely stressed out. It doesn't know what to react to. There are different components of these vaccines, peanut protein, and I can't remember which, maybe Lucy can help me out on this, but I can't remember which vaccine had, I think it was peanut oil in it. And so you're giving these kids these vaccines at the same time that you're introducing new foods. The body is not actually responding to the virus. It's responding to the adjuvant or the poison. Go ahead, Lucy. Unmute yourself. Maybe she's blocking a child.
I'm trying to block the people behind me because I'm in this fancy setup called the bedroom.
It's you got it. You're doing well.
And I wasn't, I was so entranced with what you were saying that I was like, that I didn't remember that I could do this.
That's so funny.
I can disappear. So go on.
I think we
Absolutely
got Tiffany on audio only because I think she's feeling a little under the weather. So
yeah, she sounded
we
like
have a vaccine for her that
no, just some vitamin C. Take some shots of vitamin C, maybe some elderberry.
So we got a question here. What do I got? About Spiro. I don't know what the heck he's talking about. Where does the therapeutic index fit in all of this debate? What the hell is that?
What's the therapeutic index?
I don't know either.
Let me Google. You got a question, Brad?
He's always got a question. I got another one, I think.
Yeah, actually, okay, so there was some talk about the chicken pox parties and stuff like that.
You got a question, Brad?
Sound like the other show.
Well, and so what about shingles for adults? Because every time I go to CVS now, like they just ask me if I want a shingles vaccine too. And I just politely decline because I don't want to come on a show and just have taken a vaccine.
Yeah.
Like some people did.
Yeah. Well, hey, I did it for the show.
So
I gave up my HIPAA rights to
way to go,
show.
John. Yeah, way to take that bullet for the team. But yeah, actually, like, because it isn't shingles associated with chickenpox, kind of like it's in the same
virus
thing or whatever.
Hey, I didn't take that one. I didn't take that one. They've been pressuring me. Actually, I had the prescription for it, and I was going to get it, and they were out. And then all this stuff went like, I'm like, oh, I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it. So
John, you just made Lucy's head explode.
I know she's making a concoction for me too. Some potion.
Why?
Yeah, I'll be on the 29th with it.
Oh,
John, you need to get this Vaccines Amen book, and I want you to read it before you take another vaccine.
I'm not taking another one. Not after this show.
There's
are you due for anything else, John? Is there anything that you missed?
So let me answer Brad's.
Wait, so are you pro shingles vaccine?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
I thought
I'm not either.
Let me answer your question real quick. So the shingles is the dormant chickenpox virus. You get infected with chickenpox, and then you have this virus laying dormant in your spinal column, or not your spinal column, along your nerves, your spinal cord. And so in times of high stress or illness, it will rear its ugly head. Now, the crazy thing is, this is my theory, and I don't think I'm alone in this. Well, there is some evidence to suggest this too. It's not just me coming up with some, half
We'll
brain
call it
idea.
Ashley's rule.
It's not my rule. I wasn't the originator, but I really believe that this is true. So we had chickenpox. It was common in society. Parents, would be exposed to chickenpox when their kids would get it. Grandparents would be exposed. And so you have this lifelong continuum of exposure to chickenpox. And so it's like you get a booster, all the time. So you have the chickenpox, your kids get the chickenpox. So you get all of these little boosters throughout your life. Your body develops antibodies and you're good to go. We didn't have, when I started out as a nurse, we did not have patients with shingles unless they had HIV or end-stage cancer.
Oh, that's my mom.
And actually, it wasn't HIV. It was AIDS. It was full-blown AIDS or cancer. And those cases, I can remember 2 cases of shingles. We had them on negative airflow rooms. So like the COVID rooms where the air is sucked out and it doesn't circulate through the rest of the hospital. It goes through special filters. I mean, it was a big deal. It was very strange to see. And then they started this heavy chickenpox vaccination campaign, and it took a while to get heavy saturation. But now we're not being exposed to the chickenpox anymore. We're not getting those little boosters, and so we're seeing it more and more often. We also are seeing these, like, I don't think my sister got it. She was born in the late 80s, but the kids in the 90s, they're adults now. They're getting shingles. Is it because they didn't have natural infection to kind of last, and they're definitely not being exposed to chickenpox in the wild, right? So it's very difficult because if you had the vaccine or if you were infected naturally, you have this virus in your body. And if you do come under great stress or have a serious illness, you can get the shingles, and it is not fun. I have a friend who has the shingles right now. And so I encourage them to really beef up their antiviral protection. So oil of oregano, elderberry syrup, doing things that naturally support your body, vitamin D, vitamin C, all of these types of things. And you can take antivirals like acyclovir if you get the shingles. Do I think that we need to vaccinate for it? I mean, I wouldn't. If maybe somebody was at really high risk, I'd say, hey, why don't you go ahead and write this out on paper? Let's go ahead and look at the side effects. Do a risk benefit analysis and really dig in. Get the insert, not just the 1-page piece of paper. Get the thing that folds out and is like, 3 foot long on the thinnest paper you've ever seen, or go to the FDA website and look at the insert. They did change.
Just let like an unknown liquid be injected into your arm, basically, right? Like that sounds like a good plan. Like,
Well,
no, I think you're right on with it. Like, because to do your research, to read. Yes.
Because what is your true risk of getting shingles? And if you get shingles, are you going to be able to manage it? Is taking all the risks associated with the vaccine, is the benefit of the vaccine greater than all the risks associated with taking it?
Yeah, I would say that. So what I've heard here makes it interesting, because my mom had end of life cancer and she got shingles, and I remember she was miserable. I knew another guy that had it in his eye. Now
So
that would be just that'd be my definition of hell. Have shingles in your eye.
In the eye or on the face is very dangerous. The shingles vaccine, they recently reformulated it, I think like 2 or 3 years ago. It used to be a live virus vaccine. And what we would see is patients would get vaccinated and then they would end up with the shingles. Not necessarily because of the fact that it made them sick, but we'd have patients that would just have it under their Band-Aid. The shingles would show up. So I'm wondering if it's supposed to be an IM or intramuscular injection. And you're supposed to kind of pull the muscle a little bit. So that way, when you inject and you release the muscle, instead of the track being straight so it can leak out, the muscle fibers kind of pull over and close it off. So it's trapped inside the muscle. And, it leaks out, and then they touch that spot and they touch their face and they spread this shingles. There's no research to guarantee that, but I saw it so many times that it was absolutely wild. And at first it was a real struggle to get them diagnosed with shingles because doctors didn't believe it was happening. But it's just wild. And the live virus vaccine is gone, but
we're sort of like human guinea pigs on things. And I am the guinea pig for this Prevlar 21, apparently. So we'll see how that works out. But I was thinking back too on my 2 sons. They're about 15 months apart. And the older one got the chicken pox. And I mean, we put him in the little oatmeal bath or whatever, and it looked like it was Polka Dot City. And the young one had 2 dots on him only. I mean, it just was crazy how the difference was 2 dots compared to 5,000. I mean, he looked like he was a leopard. He had so many on him. So yeah, that's very interesting. So I got a question from the audience here from Jimmy Bennett. He wants to know, what vaccinations do you endorse, or if any, I would say?
There is no one size fits all medicine. Period. End of discussion. Like, I don't play those games. I cannot endorse or say, oh yeah, you're going to be perfectly safe. It just makes no sense to me how we can say, even with your blood pressure medicine, there are multiple different kinds of blood pressure medication that work in different ways.
Yeah,
we get different doses. We change those doses based on the person's blood pressure and their needs. With vaccines, we don't do that. Plus, if you go read the book, Vaccines Amen, you will see the absolute hogwash. I mean, it is junk. I won't even call it science. It is absolute hogwash that they use to get these through the market. If you want to further complicate that, any vaccine that is on the childhood schedule and routinely recommended for children, the manufacturer, the doctor, the nurse, or pharmacy technician, if you're going to the pharmacy to get this injected, is not liable for any injuries.
Yeah, they are exempt from it. And to me, that's a red flag. And I don't even need Lucy to smack me upside the head on that one.
But isn't that part of like medical care though? Just, I mean, as a human, I think we've come a long way in allowing other people to try to treat our body by like cutting it open and just, messing with it. Whether it's like for survival or just for like, because cosmetic, like it's freedom of choice to do what you want to do with your body, I guess, right? Like,
I think the only problem is people are not aware of this. People are not aware that the reason they took liability away, or they put up this liability shield, was because vaccines were injuring so many people that the manufacturers were going to stop making vaccines. Prior to 1986, I think initially there might have been close to 20, I want to say like 17 vaccine manufacturers. And then all these lawsuits started, and it dwindled down to 3 companies that were making vaccines because of the severe number of vaccine injuries and the amount of litigation. And I was actually just watching something on the hepatitis B vaccine today. And from the 90s, it was a 2020 special, and they were talking about the injuries that were happening. And so they had to give the liability protection to them because there were so many issues. And in doing that, they don't have the duty to warn. It's just absolutely mind-boggling because there is no way that you can know and understand what the true risks of these vaccines are. You can get an idea, and you can read that package insert and all of the fine print. They're like, well, they have to list it, even if it happens just once and it's, never going to happen, yada, yada, yada. Like I said, with the hepatitis B vaccine that we're giving to every newborn on the first day of life after a very traumatic event, i.e. birth, we give this vaccine and they tested it for 4 days. The vaccine isn't even working. So how can you give people the information that they need to make a decision? It'd be like me saying, hey, Brad, drink this bottle of bleach. It's going to kill the bacteria in your gut.
You got to inject it into your veins, like Trump said.
Yes, John.
I was just reading his mind. I'm the great Preston on this show. I knew what he was thinking as soon as you said bleach, Ashley.
Drink this gallon of pickle juice, John.
Yes, and you'll live to 100. You'll live to 100.
Gallon.
No, well, Ashley, no, I'm sorry. Go on. Just.
But you're not giving the information about, you know what? A gallon of pickle juice is probably fine because the fact that it has electrolytes, but you're not warning about all the things that could happen because of the excessive amount of electrolytes.
Yeah. Well, it's good for cramps. That's why I use that one, because, I'm a cyclist and we destroy our legs at times.
Man, just drink water, dude.
So, well, I mean,
he probably needs some electrolytes, but let's not get off topic here.
Okay, yeah.
The thing of it is with these vaccines, you truly do not know. I've got another book over there. It's from the Institute of, I need to bring my bookshelf back. Of the National Institute of Medicine. And what they do in this entire book, it was published in 2012, and they go through and they're looking at all of the potential adverse events. And it's a thick book. I mean, it's several inches thick. And under each vaccine, they list out all of these things. And it in almost every single one, it says there is not sufficient evidence to prove a causal relationship. I can't remember the exact wording, but it basically says we can't say it does or does not cause this issue. There's not enough research, but they've never gone back to go research and find out. So it's like, we don't know if this happens, but it could. I mean, we have research studies, but we don't think it's enough to say, yes, this was directly from the vaccine, because there are too many variables.
Yeah, there is. And you can manipulate variables in a research paper. I mean, I've done a thesis, and you can take out this person. There's little things you can do to manipulate that. And if you're not an honest person, you can make a study really not be significant, or be significant, or be this way or that way. And that's one thing I learned doing that research, that things can get like that. So I have this theory. Why don't we do a 5-year moratorium on all from right tomorrow, all the kids born for 5 years, no vaccines, just to see what happens? Is that too much of a human?
Well, then you're pushing
experiment?
that side of it. You can't.
I agree with Brad. Here's the deal. The person, the family, is the only one that has to live with these consequences. Are there people who could get hepatitis? Yeah. Are there people who could have a serious reaction to measles? Yeah. Are there people who could have serious complications of meningitis and die? Yep. So we cannot do, I cannot do a
Generalize.
moratorium on all vaccines. You can't do one size fits all medicine. I would love to, but I don't feel like it's appropriate to take that choice. What we do need to do is really, there was a study out of Henry Ford, An Inconvenient Study. Oh, that is a phenomenal film, an inconvenientstudy.com by Ican Del Bigtree. It goes over the study that they should have been doing through HHS. We have all the data and information. We have these populations to really look and see the risks they so outweigh the benefits of getting the vaccine that, I mean, it's just astronomical. People should still be given the choice. We have the information to say, look, these are the serious problems these are causing. And then we put liability back on the manufacturer. If we want to correct this, if we want safer vaccines, we put liability back on the manufacturer and make them accountable for making safer products. You can go watch, there was a film, oh goodness, it was by Andy Wakefield, so every pro-vaxxer is going to lose their mind and want to puke. Lucy, do you remember that film about DTaP? What was that? Andy Wakefield directed it. It's fantastic, but it talked about how they could have made a safer vaccine for, like, it was 11 cents or something like that compared to 2 cents per dose. They could have made the safer vaccine. It was pennies, but they refused to do it because they didn't want to lose that profit margin. And so we have this industry that has a free pass to make billions and billions of dollars every year with a captive audience, and our tax dollars are going and purchasing these vaccines. It wasn't vaxxed. No. It was one of his other films. It was a husband and wife, and she was pregnant, and they were walking through, and it talked about the Pinto and the way that all these things, but it was a great film. And I'll have to remember what do you know, Lucy? Sorry.
No, I don't, but I'll tell you what, I met Andy Wakefield when he was here, for the Vaxxed movie I was running for US Senate at the time. I think it was 2016 it was released. What a compassionate man with just really, really good energy. I mean, you could tell he really deeply cared about children. And the DPT vaccine was the thing that started the National Vaccine Information Center when Barbara Loe Fisher and Harris Coulter, who's a PhD, wrote a book together called DPT, A Shot in the Dark. And that's when they went from the DPT whole, WHOLE, cell vaccine, to the DTAP, which is the acellular pertussis, which was, in theory, supposed to be, less harmful. But it was Barbara Loe Fisher's child who was profoundly damaged. So the whole idea of the National Vaccine Injury Compensation Program was like a no-fault system. You've had this with insurance, like it doesn't matter who hits who in a car wreck, everybody gets their car paid. And it was supposed to be that way. But it becomes such a political football when children are damaged. And so there was never any intention, I don't believe, on the pharmaceutical side to be fair.
No. Protocol 7, does that sound familiar?
That's on the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine. Highly recommend that. He's done some great films, and then you can go look at the source documents. But 1986, The Act is the film that I was referring to, and it walks you through the story of DTP, Barbara Loe Fisher's son, and how all that. She was on Oprah and Phil Donahue and all of these shows, and it was talked about openly back then. And so just so much information to show the corruption and greed from a very small number of people at the very top of the food chain. And so, I know we're coming up to the end of the show here. I just want to drive home. First of all, everybody deserves the right to decline. you never have any issues with accepting. They're going to push it on you. They're going to try to pressure you into taking it. I don't want to take that choice away from anybody. Vaccines, some of them might actually work. Like you said, the chickenpox vaccine. I think that it does prevent the chickenpox, but is preventing the chickenpox, which is usually very mild and benign. You take, the baths, you give the popsicles. Is that worth all of the risks and then the fallout after? Because if we had natural chickenpox infections, I do think we would see the suppression and the reduction in the rate of shingles in adults because we have those natural boosters occurring. So all of that to say, you need to get involved. If you are not a member of Hoosiers for Medical Liberty yet, you need to be. Get our text alerts, 260-286-0988.
I got one today. How timely was that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Did you do that on purpose just for me?
I did do it just for you. God was like, Ashley, John got a vaccine. And
so you need to smack him, send him.
That was the best
message.
part of like my day was watching that unfold.
So yeah, I'm glad I could make your day, Brad. We've run out of time. We'll have to save the Trump thing for next time. But I do, before we go, I do want to, Lucy, do you have our health? She's gone. Are you going to have the health moment? You're muted.
Dear.
Yes, my husband only wishes for eat then. My daughter's going back and forth and trying to deal with the
sneak up behind
dogs.
you and give you a wedgie again. I hate it when he does that on live TV. So anyway, do you have your health minute? Because we've missed it.
I do. I've actually got a couple of different things.
Hold on. I got stuff for you. That you got an introduction here. This is
sorry.
We have an introduction. So hold on. I got it somewhere here. Let's see. There it is. Okay, you got 7 seconds to think to collect your thoughts. Ashley, I'm glad you're here so you can critique what she's saying. So this is going to be fun. Brad, buckle up and listen to the ladies.
Well, let's talk about what are the kinds of things that you can do in your life to actually maintain health. And I need to write down what I've talked about week by week because I have been on the show for about 3 weeks now. I've been raising absolute panic among elected officials in my county as I expose their thoughts. Oh, it's been so much fun. They hate me so much. But when you're hated by the right people, that's a good thing. So what I really want to talk with people about is just the lymph system, LYMPH. So if you have not thought about, most people don't even know, you have 2 circulatory systems in your body, but only one has a pump. So you have a heart that pumps your blood around through your blood vessels, but there's all this other fluid that's throughout your body and proteins and all kinds of things that are moving right along next to your blood vessels. And the purpose of that is to be like your garbage and disposal system. It's supposed to get all that bad stuff out and get it to your kidneys and get it to your colon so you can eliminate everything. And most people are not aware that because that system does not have a pump, the less you move, the more toxic you are. So a lot of people talk about, hey, after you eat, go walk, even if it's not a fast walk, it doesn't have to be. Go walk for 30 minutes. Use your big muscles to soak that glucose in so that your blood sugar stays even and low rather than just lazing around after a meal. Super important. But the main thing is to get your lymph pumping. So I would like to challenge everyone within the sound of my voice to just go on YouTube and search up some simple lymph exercises. It'll have you, swinging your arms back and forth and making some, big movements. You have 6 or 7, and I'm not going to name them all, but you've got a few specific areas of your body where the lymph drains, and you need to do them in a certain order. So when I'm in the shower, not that anybody cares, but I start in a very specific order.
We don't have a video, do we?
I'm usually getting my lymph here, and then I'm draining it through my ears. Ladies, the reason that you're getting breast cancer is because, one, you're blocking your elimination system because most of these, not deodorants, antiperspirants, have aluminum salts. The way that those work is they go in there, they soak in through your pores, and they irritate your pores so severely that they swell up and nothing can come out. That's like putting your finger in the dike. It's going to come out someplace else. And so if you want to avoid breast cancer, you've got to get all the toxins out. So don't
Wouldn't that
use
be for men too, though?
antiperspirant.
Just out of like antiperspirant with
Yeah.
aluminum.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know what? You're right. Humans should
And
not be getting
I'm not
in.
trying to be an ass on the left.
No, thank you, Brad.
Think-
You've got to stand up and advocate for men too.
I'm just asking because I'm getting old, and all of a sudden, all these tests are in front of me. So
And Brad's definitely limping in on this conversation.
Yes. So as Ashley put in the chat, no aluminum. There is zero purpose in the body for aluminum. So when Paul Offit for Profit gets up there and says, well, we've all got about 135, micrograms or whatever aluminum in our body, that's not a good thing. It's just recognizing we're all toxic. So ladies, you should be pumping your lymph nodes. And so there's some behind your knee, and there's some, in your armpit. Armpits should have pits in them. Most people are now convex, not concave in their armpits. And that's a reflection of, I mean, when you do your double bicep and you do your gun show.
They're an Audi instead
So
of an
have
innie?
you seen those vibration plates on the TikTok and stuff?
I'm going to get me one of those. Those are super.
Yeah, do a video for that. We're going to live stream that.
Yeah,
one.
there's all sorts of things you can do, but you know what? Let's start with the things that don't cost you any money. Go out. Right now you have wild lettuce, and you can get the very, tender. They're a little bit bitter, but bitter is good for you. It stimulates your vagus nerve and your liver. And go eat your dandelions. Now, if you're spraying your lawn, you'll kill yourself.
The
so don't eat that.
glyphosate or whatever it is.
Glyphosate. By the way,
whatever it is.
anybody within the sound of my voice needs to go listen to Stephanie Seneff, Seneff. She's an MIT PhD. Ashley knows who she is. She explains how glycine, one of the amino acids, is, I'm going to say imposterized. I know that's not the word, but the glyphosate comes in and pretends to be the correct glycine, and it's not, and it screws up your amino acid, your protein chains. And so what happens, according to Stephanie, to Dr. Seneff, is if you eat sauerkraut, the bacteria in the sauerkraut will go in there and it will break up the glycine and the phosphorus because it's glyphosate, and it'll break those chemicals down into their constituents and allegedly render them harmless, which I'm hoping is true. And there are also some people that are saying, I said this last week, that kimchi has certain bacteria that act basically as a sponge for microplastics. So it'll help you.
Yeah, and you add a quart of pickle juice every day on top of that, and you're good to go. That's what I'm saying.
Man, yeah.
So Ashley, what
I
I saw you do this. I saw, you were important. So, critique Lucy's health minute here. That turns
she's
into
on
like
point,
5
man.
minutes.
Be brutal.
This is on point.
Yeah.
The one thing I would say is, definitely do, especially if you have a lot of sinus issues, you can really work. I do lymphatic drainage massage on my family all the time because it is so important. You can feel everything open up. If you've got chronic ear infections, all of these things, they say the only thing that I have to critique is, and Lucy's absolutely right, there's nothing actively moving your lymph around. However, in your legs, your calf is that giant muscle, but the lymph runs right through the center of that muscle. So even if you're chair bound, you can't get up and move around a lot. If you do what they call ankle pumps, so point your toes, bring your toes toward your nose, point to your nose, point out, point to your nose, point out, point to your nose. Do that on your commercial breaks during your soap operas, ladies. No judgment. But or I can't remember what show Brad was talking about earlier. Your
Brad
trash
loves
TV
the
real
view.
life.
No, I play air drums with my feet.
Yeah.
Too.
Good. And so that will help pump that lymph. You hear the word lymphedema. Everybody's getting lymphedema now, the swelling in your ankles and your feet. It's because we're sedentary. We're sitting on our butts. When you sit, you create that kind of like right angle with your booty and your back. And so those lymphatic drainage tubes kind of are getting pinched and they're getting blocked off. So get up and move and walk around as much as you can. Even if you're older and you can't move around very well, you can't cycle like John, get up and just walk around your house, 2 or 3 times. These are very simple things that you can do for free to stimulate your lymph movement. Make sure you're well hydrated, because that's another important point. But Lucy was on point, man. This is so good for your overall health.
Yeah. Well, I just go in my truck on the Indianapolis roads here, and it vibrate the living daylights out of you. So that's good. What is that, Lucy?
I have a
Eliminator?
very simple I call it the leg scraper, but it's a device like, you see ladies using a gua sha, I think that's how you pronounce it, to get the excess fluid out of their face and to drain liquid and to make themselves prettier and sharper. This is one that I use for my legs. I have a condition called lip edema, and lip edema is a genetic defect that basically puts fat in between your skin and your muscle, because fat is supposed to be inside your muscle, like marbled like steak. But ladies that have lymphedema, and it is a heartbreaking thing to have, I will tell you that, because it's almost like you take like just globs of fat and you start putting them on random places in your body. But the main problem with lipedema is that it can lead to lymphedema, which is what Ashely was mentioning, because skin, muscle, and with ladies with lipedema, it's 99% women, you start getting these fibrotic, calcium crystal filled adipose tissue. So I literally, so you can see with ladies that have lipedema, we end up with tissue. At first, I thought it was cellulite when I was younger, but it's not. They're actual, almost like gummy bears underneath your skin. So if I pinch my arm or if I pinch my legs, it feels like you're pinching a glass splinter. So if you've ever gotten a splinter in your finger and you pinch it, that's the kind of pain that people with lipedema are suffering from. And this is one of the things that I use to get the excess fluid from my ankles all the way up, along with, like compressions and compression garments and things like that.
Disclaimer for people out there, if you have any sort of blood clotting disorder, any history of blood clots, talk with your doctor first, because if you're massaging and rubbing the back of your calves too vigorously, you can cause yourself some issues. So that's my medical disclaimer. And of course, none of this is medical advice. Please consult with your own medical professional.
This is just the crazy stuff that I do to my own body to see what happens. Yeah. You were talking about longevity.
Maybe
and
this there.
Yeah, exactly. My daughter was like really excited. My oldest daughter, she turns 35 this year. She's my oldest of my 10 babies. And she was like, Mom, you're going to live to 100. I'm like, 107. I've already got it planned out. And she's like, well, actually, that's really possible, because apparently women that have 6 babies or more, and even if they give birth after age 35, are very statistically likely to live to 100. Especially if you don't put face diapers on your face like
Brad, we are not doing conspiracy fact tonight, so you might as well forget it.
Well, no, there's the hantavirus now too. I don't want to.
Oh yeah,
that's what I have. I'm already
cover that real quick.
I just wanted to see Ashely shake her head at that one. I do have one actual question though. Like, we talk about like voter participation. It's like 30% or whatever. Like that's how many people, vote. Ashely, how many people do you think actually individually care about their own homeostasis and their own health? Like,
that's a good
these
question,
are all
Brad.
things that make sense to us, but like, I know.
Can you please take the mask off your nose?
Oh,
you have a great brain and I really like it. There you go. Get some oxygen. Thank you very much. Now I feel better.
Tiffany said a side note on that one for Ashely to bust his chops. I love it. Go ahead.
Oh man, it broke. Okay.
Wow, that's going to break everybody's
effective.
heart.
Safe
that's
and
still
effective.
not going to erase me getting the vaccine.
Okay, so the question was, how many people do you think actually care about their health? And I truthfully believe that almost everybody, unless you're facing some pretty severe depression, almost everybody cares about their health. The caring is not the problem. The motivation and the empowerment are. And this is what I do in my private practice, is educate and empower, because when you don't feel that you have the ability to make change, when you feel that something is out of your hands, you lose the motivation to make change, because you kind of shrug your shoulders and go, well, what does it matter? My genetics are screwed. I'm not a doctor. I can't get help for this. I can't get that. And so you become depressed and you think, well, why the hell should I care? I'm just going to drink my Diet Coke and smoke my Marlboro Reds. And is that still a thing, Marlboro Reds?
I smoke them every day.
Do you smoke it? Okay, sorry.
I got a horse. I got a horse out in the back 42.
But No, I think the issue is motivation, and people are so afraid to take action because they feel that they're going to do it wrong, or they have to have the doctor's approval, that they quit caring because it's easier to subjugate that responsibility and that power to somebody else, because then if it goes wrong, it's not your fault.
Hey, you did
And
what you're
so
supposed to do.
what I will say to people to fight that narrative, and if you go to my personal website, wtajourney.com, and I'll put that in the chat, I have a self-advocacy class, and I talk a lot about being able to advocate for yourself. I need to get a functional medicine course on there. I might have one on there, but I'll get the basics. The greatest determinants of your health are nutrition, hydration, and movement, mobility. Those are all things that you can control. And those are the greatest determinants of your health. There is a lot to speak for spirituality and social activity and things like that. But you can really control 95% of your health. And you have just been taught that you don't have that power, that you need the doctor to take care of you, that you need to go to them for that prescription. And that is why we saw antibiotic resistance. I'm going off on a tangent, but that's why we saw antibiotic resistance rises, because all of these people were going to the doctor and they needed help from this doctor for this virus that antibiotics don't even work on. And to keep the patients happy, the doctor would write the script for the antibiotics, send the patient home with it, even though they didn't need it, even though it wouldn't work for a virus. They needed psychologically to feel like they were getting something to help them. Otherwise, they were dissatisfied. And so we overused antibiotics. We got antibiotic resistant strain bugs, and there's some other factors, but really,
Why
that's
didn't the doctors just
like
use like placebos? You know,
so they used to do that. They used to do salt pills, and I actually have another book.
I mean, be like, all right, yeah, take this, and if it's not better in 3 days, call me again, just to let them let their brain unwind.
Take 2 aspirin and call me in 3 days.
They
That's an old joke.
literally do that. I have a book over there that talks about in the early 1900s how the doctors would just take a spoonful of sugar, drop it in a cup, stir it up, and tell the mom to give them a teaspoon every 4 hours or whatever. And it worked as a placebo. So that way, A, they could charge more, and B, they felt more satisfied. So this is absolutely a part of it. You want my prescription for health? And again, not medical advice. Walk for 20 minutes 3 times a week. Drink real water, not
the mud puddle water that I drink.
Tea, not coffee, not soda, not whatever. Drink real water. You need to talk to your provider about how much to drink, and eat real foods like fruits and vegetables, like meat, like eggs, like cheese. If you're a vegan, eat a lot of beans and rice. Like, get protein, complex carbs, get a lot of fiber. Your body is going to change in dramatic ways just by giving it the tools that it needs, because whether you believe in God or not, I hate to break it to you, but he designed your body to heal on its own. You just have to give it the tools. I wouldn't expect you to build a mansion out of straw bales, right? I would expect you to build it with bricks.
Yeah.
So
that's
if we give our body garbage, we're going to build garbage.
Yeah.
If we give our body the appropriate tools, we're going to build something strong and powerful. So walk, eat real food, drink water.
All right. Well, hey,
can I put a plug in for myself, John, before you go?
Oh, yes, you always can. I mean,
Thank you.
The payment. But I do want to say something before you do that. We are getting at least 30 followers we're getting a new follower every day, pretty much.
Love it.
Which is, for being on the air for 5 years, you sort of hit a plateau of this and that. But, we have 3 shows here. But honestly, I have not been able to monetize anything at all, really. And I don't know if I want that burden of tracking people down for money and that type of thing. So for sure, this is part of your pay to be able to come on and say something about what you need to say.
Find yourself a purveyor of plants in your area that's not Walmart. It's not some huge nursery. I'm down in southern Indiana. I have my little nursery here. I do edible, medicinal, and culinary plants, and we named it Landscape Medicine Nursery to reflect the fact that we're trying to, put the medicine into your landscape. So even if you're in an HOA, as I was many, many years in Fishers when I lived there, there are plants that you can put in that your HOA won't even know, that these are medicinal plants. They'll think that they're flowers and they won't know that you're actually harvesting
Brad's got some
echinacea.
plants.
I just love
Yeah,
Brad's
that
got
does
some
get it.
plants.
Lucy's just
Little
like,
seven
no.
leafers.
She's
I
like,
don't,
don't
I
worry
don't
about it, guys.
recommend.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Well, funny story. I was growing valerian, and valerian is really calming. If you have a problem sleeping at night because you're criticizing yourself or you're going over your to-do list and you're just ruminating over and over, if you take valerian, at least for me, it shuts up the voice inside my head. And then if you got to wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom because you're older, I'm able to go back to sleep and fall back asleep. And then chamomile knocks me out, lemon balm, passion flower. There's so many things that are gentle and support, your journey. But I was just thinking about this today. I have these amazing berries. They're called aronia berries. They are just absolutely a superfood, but they're pretty bitter. But bitter's good. So I've
So
had
was
a
my
hard
ex-wife,
time.
and I survived that. So, all right, how's my concoction doing? How's my potion, my tincture,
It
whatever the
is
hell
it is in vodka.
is it in tincting right now? Whatever you
Yeah,
call
is it in, I don't know if tincturing or intincting is a
it.
word,
It's
but
my
it's
instincts
chilling
are
out in
telling
some
me that it's
vodka.
very good. But
Yep.
but you know what? We could talk. I'm telling you, we're gonna have you back
it's
on in another
10:20, yeah.
25 shows, Ashley, because but before we go, I do have to plug this, which I'm the derelict to do, the take me out to the ballpark that Brad has
Yes.
put together here.
Oh, yeah.
So
Fun time.
we're up to 26 people, I believe, so far. Hopefully, Tiffany and Lucy, I've not heard you commit to being at this thing. For our mouthwash viewers, I'm going to have mouthwash T-shirts to be given out while supply lasts. I think I have enough supply for everybody to get one. We might even have a little opportunity for golf that day. It's just going to be our day, the 29th. And you can see we have other folks that are involved here. I think Aiden and Justin and their neurological podcast are going to help sponsor that. But so send your request to mouthwashtalkshow@gmail.com. And then what we'll do is I have Venmo and Cash App. You can send that in, and then your tickets will be at will call. And Brad, what section are we sitting in? 22 or 1?
It's 122. It's
122.
It's in like 122 or 121, something like that.
Yeah,
it's in the right.
221,
It's in the right
220,
field corner.
Okay, yeah, we'll be able to catch some wicked foul balls from somebody. I think maybe we'll get on the TV, and they're also going to mention this at some during the thing, probably because we're going to get thrown out like Caddyshack Day. But
yeah,
and then fireworks. There's going to be fireworks. So all that good stuff. So like I said, we're promoting it on some different places, and I know that I have requests for at least 26 tickets, but I know we had to break the minimum of 25 to get our discount. $12. I mean, come on, and you get to come out and see Brad and Tiffany and Lucy, and Ashley's thinking about coming over too. So we got Tina Turner. She's coming. Not the singer, person just ran for the house. Okay. So I should have said Tina Turner's coming, and that would have been true, but not. I bet we could get Turner.
I bet we could get the organist to play. Rolling on the River.
Yeah, or do we have a theme song for our?
Yeah. Ashley's got it. Yeah, come on.
That's right.
Hey, John, you can count me in for the ball game.
Okay, good. That's 27 people. We got Tiffany coming.
When I saw my name on the invite, I didn't think that I had a choice.
No, I know you didn't, but I try to make you think that you got something to say here. But and Lucy, if you need to crash overnight, or if you want to bring some of your hoodlum kids with you, it's all good. Bring them. We got.
Yeah, my mini me is usually with me. My 13-year-old.
Oh yeah. Was there 13-year-old 13 on Friday the 13th?
She was not.
Actually, when I gave blood the other day, the gal that was doing it, she was 13 on Friday the 13th in 2002. So she was quite a bit. I was in 61. So I've met 4 people that have that correlation now. So it's just awesome. So anyway, I digress. And I did give the blood for a carb ticket, and they took my platelets. Ashley, is that a good thing? And they took all my platelets. You know, they get double of them or whatever.
I'm sure that you're healthy and you just were able to produce
But there was ladies in there that were about half of my size given the same amount of platelets, and I'm like, they were sitting there with blankets and eating stuff. I jumped out and ran right out. I'm like, take some more platelets.
John, you're healthy though. Like it really makes a difference. I don't
feel
plasma.
that healthy.
I used to donate plasma in college, and like on the days that I was like dehydrated and stuff, it was like sludge coming out of my blood apparently. But like on the days where I was like fine and I wasn't hungover and I was actually hydrated, yeah, it was like
you're saving me from getting vaccinated. I swear. Thank you. So how long did it take my platelets to get going again? Because I actually cut my little thumb, and the blood was coming out like friggin' water. It looked like.
I don't think they take all of them. Like they take.
They took a lot of them,
and they
I don't know how
John.
long it takes for your platelets to mature, but spit on it next time, and it'll be fine. That's what I tell my kids: spit on it and keep walking.
Rub some dirt on
So
it.
if you have a wound and it's bleeding, then you can use Achille millifolia, which is yarrow, which is a really beautiful flower. And it's Achille millifolia because Achille, as in the Achilles heel. Remember, there was like one spot that his mom had that he was vulnerable, that she'd like dipped him down in. Yeah, and so because it stops blood flow, that's where the Achilles comes from. And millifolia, they have like thousands, millions of leaves. They're really, really cut-in leaves. So once you see it, you'll know it.
Bring some of that up on the 29th because I'm always hacking myself with whatever. I'll probably injure myself tomorrow. It's like, and plus when you get older, your skin gets thinner, and as well as my patients. So speaking of patients, this show is over. When you get old, things are over. So, hey, thanks for everybody coming on. We'll have another fabulous guest. Oh, I ran into Ryan Mears, the prosecutor here from Indianapolis. He saw my shirt. He liked it. And I said, well, we got a show. Check it out. So maybe he checked it out. He said he'd be a guest. So we'll bring him on. Seems like a super nice guy. So we'll see what's happening with that. But anyway, Ashley, thanks so much. Hopefully we'll get some more people coming to your thing. I'm probably going to be one of them to go to one of these meetings on Thursday because I'm interested to see if I'm going to die from this vaccine, and I think they could help me. So anyway, I'm not going to die from the vaccine. I'm not allergic to nothing. I eat nails for the breakfast. What?
John,
Oh, Brad, you got some?
Well, can I plug the rinse because now I have a list of stuff that I want to talk about. All right, so the Todd Blanche stuff, the IRS, the $1.76 billion, which is the dumbest friggin' patriotic bullshit kind of thing to do.
Wait,
I don't know why. Yeah, they keep calling it 1.8 billion, and it's not. It's 1.776. I'm like, you say it the right way because of how ridiculous it is.
We're going to dump it in the Gulf of America.
Yes, that kind of stuff. Todd Blanche again. Hammer and Nigel, they don't bring this stuff up, and it's been bugging me lately. And I wish they did more.
So for those
even news,
those watch the rinse 7:30. You got Drew Weingarten on there, and Mark Small now has been added. So it is. I would like to call it the Three Stooges reinvented, recycled. Maybe
it's a time. I have to like start coming up with I'm coming up with a lot more questions to ask. So
we
have less tangenty.
You are developing that show quite well. It's 3 shows we have here on the Chateau de Mars Hill Network. Maybe Ashley wants to put a show on here, a medical. Yeah, she's got plenty to do. So, folks, honestly, though, you can see how dedicated she is and how much time she puts in here and how smart she is about this stuff. I'm just so impressed and so proud of the work she's doing. And so get to some of these meetings and check it out because she's not the only one doing this stuff. And your health is important. And then once this tincture that Lucy's making for me goes viral, I mean, we're going to make a fortune on this show, and we're going to donate a bunch of money to Ashley's cause and everything. And, life will be grand. So anyway, thanks for watching tonight. And I don't know. Oh, I can actually play the whole thing because we got all of our panel here and everything. So Ashley, thanks again for coming on. And hopefully we'll get some people coming to your meetings and more people, and keep it going. Keep it going. And thanks, Brad and Lucy. And I know Tiffany was a little under the weather tonight. She still came on like a trooper. So we'll see you next week, and we'll have another fun time. Over and out.